The devil's one mission is to steal, kill, and destroy. And you may have every door locked, every window closed, and all alarms set, but what do you do when Judas is already in the house? What do you do when the relationship struggles you're going through are more than difficult? They're more than destructive. They are downright demonic. Here's the truth. The enemy knows your weak points, and when he can't get to you directly, when he doesn't have access to your front door, he'll send someone who does, the narcissist. And that's why in today's episode, we are uncovering the 6 tactics that the enemy uses through the narcissist to destroy you, and more importantly, what you can do to protect yourself. My friend, by the time we're done today, you are going to see with crystal clarity what's really going on behind the scenes. Well, hey, my friend, in case we haven't met yet, my name is Kris Reece, and it is my hope to help you navigate difficult relationships and conquer codependency biblically. And I want to invite you to grab a copy of our free Narcissist Survival Guide. I'll go ahead and include a link in the description box below. To paint this picture, I want you to think of the tactics that the devil uses through the narcissist like an elaborate maze. But not one of those fun mazes that comes with a map. No. I'm talking about this elaborate, creepy maze specifically designed to keep you trapped. Each turn designed to make you feel like you're getting closer to your dream relationship, but in reality, it's taking you further and further from the truth until one day you've reached the point where you have no idea where you are or who you are. The first tactic that the enemy uses to trap you often feels deceptively comfortable at first, maybe even familiar. It's kind of like something from your family of origin or something you've always dreamed of. But as time passes, you realize you're drifting further and further from the clarity you thought you had. You are lost in a maze where every path feels like that dead end. And you start retracing your steps, second-guessing yourself, over-explaining, and believing that if you could just say it better, things would improve. But the truth is, you have been pulled in to the trap of confusion and doubt. Narcissists are masters at gaslighting, twisting the truth, and making you question your reality. And this confusion isn't accidental. It's intentional. It's designed to create self-doubt and keep you dependent on the narcissist for answers and validation. And the enemy thrives in chaos and confusion. And if you've noticed, so does the narcissist. When the enemy operates through the narcissist, it weakens your confidence, clouds your judgment, and makes you doubt your ability to discern right from wrong. And confusion and doubt are one of the enemy's most effective weapons, and it is crucial to recognize it for what it is. It is a deliberate strategy to keep you trapped in that maze. It's in those moments where you need to take a step back and remember 1 Corinthians 14:33, for God is not a God of confusion, but of peace. Now, if confusion makes you question your reality, what happens when the pain from your past keeps dragging you back into survival mode? Well, the enemy's next tactic through the narcissist can best be described as a wound that never quite heals. I want you to imagine walking through the maze that we talked about, and suddenly you trip over a hidden trap, one that you've encountered before, and that pain feels familiar, like an old injury being reopened. And instead of moving forward, you're stuck now trying to deal with the fresh pain. And this is how the enemy works, using the narcissist to trigger your emotional wounds, keeping you focused on your pain rather than path out of the chaos. And his goal is to keep you stuck, spinning in circles. And narcissists like to seek out your deepest vulnerabilities, the wounds that you thought were healed, and then reopen them. They push just the right buttons to make you relive past rejections, betrayals, or insecurities, or they use things against you to make themselves look like a victim. You think you're reacting out of a present problem, but you're actually reacting out of old pain. And it leaves you then looking like the problem. And this keeps you in survival mode, focused on explaining yourself, apologizing for things that you didn't do. And the emotional chaos begins to cloud your perspective, making it very difficult to see the truth. And the enemy uses this distraction to keep your eyes off of pleasing God and on to now trying to please the narcissist. And once that wound is reopened, they will poke at it, pour salt in it, anything they can do to irritate it, because if they can, you're now back under their control. But just in case you've taken their poisonous bait, here's the antidote. Psalm 147:3 says, He heals the brokenhearted, and He binds up their wounds. Healing starts when you take your focus off of the narcissist and their chaos and turn to God, who is the only one that is going to bring peace in the deepest pain. So if the enemy can't use the narcissist to get through your doubts and triggers, he will most definitely use this next tactic. And it's an easy one to use because of how the narcissist treats you. In fact, it's almost baked into every narcissistic relationship. It's the thorny vines that are growing over the exit, the ones that block you when you think you're about to find your way out. And it's tempting to give up and then stay stuck in that maze once you hit those thorny vines. Yes, number 3 is bitterness and resentment. That is the trap that the enemy is using to imprison you in the maze of your own making. And this tactic is like a set it and forget it for the enemy, as he will use the narcissist to keep you in a perpetual state of forgiveness, just to have some sort of peace in the relationship. But because the hurts and the injuries are fast and furious and never ending, before you know it, it's a small step from survival mode to bitterness and unforgiveness. So left unchecked, you think you're guarding your heart, while in the background, Satan is actually hardening your heart, creating a barrier between you and God's grace. And just when you think you've dealt with the bitterness and the resentment, the enemy will use the narcissist to send you mixed signals. It's like being in the maze trying to find your way out, but you're following deceptive signs pointing you in the wrong direction. So you follow these signs thinking that God is leading you in the right direction, only to hit yet another harmful dead end, which then makes it almost effortless for the enemy to launch a full-on attack of your faith. Yes, that is essentially what the enemy is after, and the narcissist is simply a tool to deceive and derail your faith. If God was so good, why would you be in this mess? If God was for you, wouldn't you have been able to get out? If God was defending you, why are you always hurt? The attacks turn into full-on assaults until you are left with nothing but lukewarm faith. And the narcissist may overtly plant seeds of spiritual confusion, intentionally leading you down a wrong path, or they may covertly distort scripture to suit their own agenda and even pretend to walk this faith journey with you, only to leave you as spiritually bankrupt as they are. And if trapping you behind a wall of thorns and doubting your faith isn't bad enough, here's where the enemy seeks to set you up for the ultimate takedown. He will erect walls so high in the already mind-spinning maze that you can't even cry for help if you wanted to. And this is where the enemy will use the narcissist to isolate you from support, from friends, counselors, pastors, are all going to now get an earful of just how crazy, how unsubmissive and controlling and disturbed, and maybe even how evil and narcissistic you are. You name it, they will first cut off your support by being your everything. They'll make you believe that it's dishonoring to share your struggles with outsiders. And then they will go to those same people and smear your good name. So when the time comes to box you in and push you out, you've got nowhere to turn. And what feels like love and support from the start turns out to be intentionally evil in the end. And once this tactic is in full play, you are now an easy target for manipulation. But take heart, my friend. The enemy or the narcissist doesn't get the final say in your life. I want you to be strengthened by the encouraging words found in Isaiah 41:10. It says, "Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." But be careful, my friend. When all of his tactics actually succeed, when he has you spinning in circles in the maze, running into thorny exits, erecting walls so high that no one can find you, he is now going to come in for the kill. He knows that he can't steal your salvation. He can't touch your life, but he can taunt you with endless noise within that maze that quiets, that drowns out that still small voice of God. He will keep you entangled in the drama and the strife with the narcissist so much that you have zero energy or interest to walk out the call of God on your life. Yes, this is the ultimate in the enemy's tactics. He will use the narcissist to distract you from your God-given purpose. He will keep you from using the gifts and the talents that God has given you, burying your potential so far beneath the rubble of dysfunction that you don't save souls, you don't expand the kingdom, you don't even live the abundant life. This is not the time to roll over. You can fight back, and you don't have to stoop to their level to do it. My friend, I want to position you to take 3 powerful steps to freedom. Are you ready? Number 1, pray. This is not a Christian cop-out. This is where your true power lies. You can't fight the enemy or the narcissist on your own or on their turf. You have to do this in the spirit realm. Stay anchored in God's truth, and you'll be able to fight the devil the same way Jesus did, with the Word of God. When you pray, you are going to gain greater insight and discernment for how to handle the demonic and destructive tactics that are coming your way. And pray for the Lord to lift up a standard against the enemy and ask him to fight for you. My friend, he will. You only need to hold your peace. Number 2, set boundaries. Being a godly man or woman does not mean that you roll over and show the devil your belly or give the narcissist access to abuse and walk all over you. Protect yourself emotionally, mentally, and physically, and you will limit the enemy's influence through the narcissist. But be prepared. This will anger both the narcissist and the demons operating through them. And because you're likely going to see them cycle through these same 6 tactics that we just talked about. But that's okay. Stand firm and guard your heart. Number 3, trust God's justice. My friend, God will fight for you. And you can rest in knowing that God sees even what you don't see. He hears what you can't hear, and he will do what you are unable to do. He will fight for you. And just like he deals with the devil himself, he will deal directly with the narcissist. Trust him, trust his timing, and you will begin to see that our God will work all of this together for your good and his glory. So the question is, will you let him? Now, you might be saying to me, Kris, that's great, but doesn't God have a breaking point? Yes, he actually does. And to learn about what he will do to the narcissist when he's had enough, go ahead and check out this episode here. Oh, and don't forget to grab a copy of your free Narcissist Survival Guide. It's in the link in the description box below.